In California, when it comes to when you can and when you cannot possess a firearm in your own home or in your own private property, like a business that you own, can you carry a firearm legally? We're going to talk about that today. If you are only curious about the laws when it comes to self-defense and the actual use of lethal force, I'm actually going to link you down to a video below by Armed Scholar. He did a much better video about the legalities of when you can and when you cannot use lethal force. He is an attorney, but he is not your attorney. That is not legal advice coming from him, but it is a good description of some general information to learn about when you can and when you cannot use lethal force. If you want to just know about when you can and what the laws are as far as carrying a gun in your business or your property that you're trying to defend, I'm going to talk about that today. Basically, the penal code that people have issue with, and that is the issue, is 25-850, and it's the crime of carrying a loaded firearm in public. And generally in the state of California, if you do not have a concealed carry weapons permit, you cannot possess a loaded firearm in public. There are many rules about transportation of firearms, and I have discussed those, and I will link a video down below, or maybe you can find it for yourself as far as the actual transportation requirements in the state of California. But let's say you're on a business that you own the property, or you have permission from the property owner to actually carry a firearm. What are the laws around that? Well, the specific time that you are allowed to carry a firearm is if you own the property, or if you have permission of the private property owner, you can carry a firearm in that space. So for example, if you are a shop owner at a convenience store, you can have that gun sitting behind the cash register where it's legal, where no one that is a prohibited person would be able to gain access to it, where you have control of it. You can have that firearm to defend yourself. If, however, you are in a situation where you think, hey, maybe I want to carry this gun outside of the store into public property, you cannot necessarily do that unless you meet a certain characteristic or a certain exemption. So let's say you have a convenience store and there's a parking lot or there's some other publicly accessed portion of the property. You cannot have that gun on that part of the property. You cannot have the gun on public property, like in the parking lot or in a courtyard or any place that the public has free access to. Inside the store, fair game. The second you step out of that store, no longer fair game in the state of California. The only time that you can actually then take that firearm and carry it with you and have that in your possession and carrying that gun would be under the specific circumstance covered in 26045 of the Penal Code, Section A. Now it says nothing in Section 25850, which is the law against carrying a gun, is intended to preclude the carrying of a loaded firearm under circumstances where it would be otherwise lawful by a person who reasonably believes that any person or the property of any person is in immediate grave danger and that the carrying of the weapon is necessary for the preservation of that person or property. So, what does that mean? In normal human speak, you cannot take that gun out into the public without the immediate threat of person or property, and that carrying that gun is absolutely necessary to stop that. Now, does that mean that you can use lethal force? I'm not going to discuss that today. When it comes to lethal force, I want to direct you over to that video so you understand that entirely. But basically, here's the deal. In the state of California, if you want to have a gun on your property that you own, either your home or your place of business, you can do that. However, if you step onto public property where the public has free access to, you can't do that unless it is absolutely necessary to the protection of you, others, or property of others. Now, would I recommend you doing this? I'm not going to say. You have to make your own decisions as far as what is right for you. I'm never going to advocate for people going out and being violent when violence is not legal or moral. If you feel that what you need to do to protect yourself and others is protect your property, that might be a decision that you choose to make. I am not going to tell you what's right or wrong. I'm just going to read some penal code, but I do urge you to watch the video by Armed Scholar. In times like these, the reason you're probably watching that video is absolutely necessary for you to go watch his video and learn more about the legal requirements for self-defense. Hopefully, however, this clears up the issue of whether or not you can actually possess a firearm in your own business and use that to defend yourself. You can possess your firearms in a place that you own, or if you have the permission of the property owner. Cut and dry, pretty simple. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. If I was wrong in any way, drop a comment below and let me know, and we will make an addendum or we will pin that comment so that people are aware. Ultimately, in times like these, I'm going to tell you that you need to make your own adult choices, do your own research, figure out what's right for you. I'm not going to tell you to carry a gun because I think you have the adult choice to make of whether or not that's right for you to do. Don't break the law if you don't want to get in trouble. If you choose to break the law, that's entirely on you. I do not recommend that you break the law, but here are some of the laws. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. As always, have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.